defiance and we can't leave. So we are always somewhere in the middle, and that is a catastrophe of identity. क्योंकि आपके ऊपर दोनों इम्पल्स काम करेगा. आप जितना भी चाहोगे कि आई वॉन्ट टू ब्लेंड इन, विच इज द आइडिया, यू वॉन्ट टू लाई. माई ओन करियर, मोस्ट ऑफ माई करियर, आई हैव ट्राइड टू ब्लेंड इन. I wrote a very public piece about it, which was actually the beginning of my alter ego in Buffalo. It was one night I was staring at the fan, and I was wondering what to do with my life with it. And that was a question I asked myself, that all these years, whether you assert or not, you're still staring at this fan. Might as well say what you want to say. But even there you have to create an alter ego. Fascinating actually, अगर इसके ऊपर हम theorize करें what that means, right? What that means for us. And ये जो बीच का जो space है, जहाँ पर आप selectively defined हो, with some friends, अपन चाय पे बैठेंगे, we can talk. When we are sitting on tea, then we talk a little openly, right? Or in certain circles, yeah, something has happened which has provoked us, right? Or sometimes you give up ambition. Rejection is also a very strong impulse in us. In a caste society, you give up certain dreams. I wanted to be a writer, filmmaker. When you're young, nobody wants to become a teacher. That's not a dream actually. That's what you end up doing because your plans didn't work out, right? So my plans also did not work out, right? Like that. Because I was interested in cinema, and then I'm like, figuring out, now cinema is an investment heavy, collaboration heavy art. एक आदमी फिल्म नहीं बना सकता है, क्रू चाहिए, इक्विपमेंट चाहिए, बहुत चीज, ट्रेनिंग चाहिए स्पेशल. अभी तो बहुत it's become diversified, but earlier it was not the case, right? I belong to the fossil era, so back then things were not so easily readily accessible technical knowledge, right? So one had to go through a lot of hoops, and there was this whole time in my life where I was going to film festivals, I'll go there, सीखेंगे, ये करेंगे, you're trying to hustle your way through it, इधर से some money saving, इधर से, and after 3-4 years of that, सारी world फिल्में देख डाली, Bahujan enterprise is not to be trifled with. दिमाग लगाते हैं तो मेहनत करते हैं, right? That is one of the things we do. पूरा देख डाला, कान के कौन विनर है 20 साल के, सब देख डाले. Years of that hustle. I went into elite university. Some of my students are here. I see them, right? And there I am teaching. I am film professor. I was not hired to be a film professor. I don't think my film students know this. I was hired to be a digital marketing professor, right? But वहाँ जाके अपनी identity पूरी एकदम interdisciplinary film professor. You're hustling for years. And then one day I'm sitting in a film festival, and the featured filmmaker is a girl who I know from my school days, upper caste, who went to an IB school. Then she went straight to New York Film School, has made a film with Konkana Sen or somebody, and that's come and she's presenting her film and I'm in the audience trying to hustle my way through, right? अब वो फिल्म अच्छी है बुरी है is not the point, मैंने देखी नहीं. But उस दिन the dream died inside me. It's like a switch went off. अरे यार आपने 6-7 साल लगा दिया, आप ऑडियंस में बैठे हो, फिल्म दे रही है, अभी क्या 10 साल और लगेंगे, right? Is it really worth spending a whole life to do this? And the dream, so you reject some ambitions. So you're always alternating, either you're in defiance mode or you're in rejection mode. आप बीच में हो तो आप फ्लक्चुएट कर रहे हो, और इस जो स्पेस में है, एजुकेशन स्पेसेस में, एकेडमिक स्पेसेस में, इंक्रीजिंगली प्रोफेशनल स्पेसेस में, अगर आपने थोड़ा सा भी अपने आप को आइडेंटिफाई किया विथ योर पॉलिटिक्स ऑफ आइदर डिफाइंस और रिजेक्शन, थोड़ा भी आपने बोला, आपके लिए 2 ही रोल खुलते हैं फॉर प्रोग्रेसिव सवर्णा सोसाइटी. आई एम नॉट इवन टॉकिंग अबाउट द कंजर्वेटिव, उनके ऊपर बहुत लिखते हैं सब. There are only 2 sort of roles open to you. The first one is कि you're the interpreter of their world. आपने देखा होगा अभी यूपी का इलेक्शन हुआ, right? Indian Express, Hindu, they're running explainers. Who are the Nishaks? आज तक मैं पढ़ा who are the Banyas, who are the Agarwals, right? They've never had to do an explainer in, you know, Indian Express. Who are Kanyakumji Brahmins, right? But who are Nishads, right? And you know, all of these little ethnographic things that they will put, and they will get an expert in, right? आप मौर्य समाज से हो, ठीक है, आप बंगाल इलेक्शन, they were hunting कोई नामशूद्रा एक्सपर्ट मिल जाए, you know, like because Delhi journalists don't even have that connection, right? They've never stepped out of Calcutta, so now they're like, "Arey, suddenly where do we find this election is on caste?" First time they're hearing the word Matua because Modi is using the word Matua, and they're like, "Oh, this is a thing, right?" So like, कौन है, ये क्या है, you know, and they're running around and scrambling for that. So that's one role that is available to you, especially अगर आप social work, social science इधर से आ रहे, you're an interpreter to them, right? हर election के पहले आके माहौल क्या है, what is the हवा, right? If you're in a, when I was in advertising, so it would always be like, you know, okay, what are people in the slums thinking here? You know, that was a question that was always thrown at me, right? क्योंकि थोड़ा उधर सा background वगैरह, you understand what I'm saying, right? So you're an interpreter, which is irritating, but it is a still and slightly innocent role. Because the second role is थोड़ा सा और cuts close, both ways, huh? Which is you're a validator of their worldview. Before the talk, we were talking briefly. This is what a lot of progressive Savarnas will come and do. Yes, and I'm deliberately using the word Savarna. ठीक है, तो थोड़ा अगर चुभ रहा है तो चुभना चाहिए, because this is academic discourse, we don't hear it, these words, right? I don't want to talk in a sanitized, privileged, we can do that also, but like let me use the word Savarna, right? So then there is a perspective of validation. A lot of Savarna anthropology works on validation of exceptionalism. मैं आके आपको बोलूँगा कि actually, you know, we Savarnas are so bad. We are so bad. We are doing so many things. We are doing so many things. I'm going to come and tell you this, right? And they'll select a different audience. To a Kashmiri, they will go and say, "Oh, we Indians are doing so bad. In Nagaland, we are doing this. Adivasi, they'll figure this out. To Muslims, you know, this is so bad. They'll figure this out, and from that position of privilege, I will go and say this to you. To the point, आप पलट के बोलोगे कि it's okay, you are doing a good job. The moment you've done that, you've validated me. Are you understanding? That's what I'm interested in this conversation. I'm useful to you only as far as I'm validating your perspective. The moment I start challenging and asserting back, you're going to graduate and drift to a different person who will do the same role. But these are two very interesting roles which are available, and you know, our crisis and our voice is stuck in this space. I keep getting asked, how can I be a better ally, right? Can you suggest some books to read? These are the two most common things I get asked from Savarnas, right? And honestly, I'm not trying to be mean. I don't know how you can be a better ally. मेरे syllabus के बाहर है ये question. I don't know what that means. And when you ask me, can you suggest me some books, it assumes that books will teach you what you are not materially seeing every day. Right? Like you can read the entire library of Baba Saheb and you're not going to get it. Right? Like अगर आप ये सवाल ही नहीं पूछ रहे हो कि आपके घर पे the domestic worker who's coming, like what is your material relationship with that domestic cleaning job? Why can't she clean the sofa and sit on it? Right, like she's cleaning it, you're okay with it. Why do you need 3 sets of domestic help to come into your house? One to clean the toilet, one to cook, and one to clean. If the cook hasn't arrived, the one who cleans the toilet will not be allowed to cook. Why? ये तो बहुत बेसिक सवाल है ना. Does your domestic help use your toilet? How many courses of gender studies you need to do before you realize this is an issue? Why do you need to do a gender studies course to realize that this is an issue? Right? I was doing field work with domestic workers in Pune, and I found this very interesting thing. They all are supposed to come between 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. in the morning because that's when people will go. And this very interesting insight. They're like, look, they want me from 7 to 8. The next house wants me to join at exactly 8, which means I can't choose homes which are very far apart. Only way I'll make this is if I leave 5 minutes early from here. But if I leave 5 minutes early from here, you're going to accuse me of being kamcho. I have done, you've assigned 10 tasks, I've done the 10 tasks, but you will invent an 11th. Because haq se, where does that entitlement and arrogance come from? We expect understanding in our work environment. Mental health is a very powerful discourse epistemically, which keeps getting used. In my teaching, it's very interesting. I have taught 3 different kinds of students. In Flame, it's an almost Savarna class. In IIMS, because of reservation, it's like 50-50. And then, of course, in Nalanda, it is mostly our students. Right? The only place I've ever heard, like, this idea, okay, please give us an extension because I have a mental health issue, is in a complete Savarna space. And I don't mean to be mean about this. I'm just trying to kind of... I asked this question in class once and people were really angry with me. I said, how many of you give mental health breaks to your domestic worker? Empathy works both ways. Right? ये आपके framework में क्यों नहीं है? Why is it an insight that has to be dropped on you? If you get the logic of this, and I appreciate that you do, then it should extend everywhere. What is this arrogance and entitlement that you have over some of these things? This casual dehumanizing. This casual limiting of my trauma, of our trauma, from which I have only 2 routes of assertion. Either I have to be totally defiant, or I have to be completely rejecting everything, right? And look at, coming closer to the question to academics, look at our academic discourse. Professor Bodhi in TISS, we are having this very interesting conversation. He keeps talking about epistemic violence, big word, epistemic. I learned it a long time ago. In an academic discourse, if somebody is bullying you, use the word epistemic. Turant, end of discussion. वो भी नहीं हुआ, use ontology. I'm revealing my trade secrets. My get out of jail card is, right? We are talking about ontologically different things. Person will just leave after that and everything. But epistemic violence is there, right? Like, for instance, I keep seeing this idea that, like, let's say the queer discourse, since I've talked about queer discourse, right? I'm only seeing Dalit Bahujans doing queer discourse. I've seen Dalit queer, I've seen Bahujan queer. I've never seen a Baniya queer. Isn't it fascinating? Where are the Rajput queers? Right? Dalit feminism. Where is Baniya feminism? So there is feminism, and then there is this. We are in the opposition. So we have to now define it in that sense. Right? So I am very fascinated by these epistemic questions. Like, I am very fascinated by, like, for instance, Baniya society. And the question of gender. It's brilliant, actually. This is a community for intergenerationally has used women as financial collateral to build kinship ties. And in a pre-industrial, pre-banking society, they were working as banking sureties. It's a system which still continues. Show me one academic paper on this. We were discussing it on the table, right? When we talk about caste, they will say work between Mahar versus Chamar. What are the differences between Valmiki and Pasi? I'm more interested in knowing what is the difference between Kayastha and Brahmin cultures. Why is that not an object of analysis? That epistemology is not there. That is erased only. You cannot talk like that. It has taken 2 generations of activists and academics to bring caste into the classroom in the language of atrocity, in the language of manual scavenging. And how many people have to die literally for this? For now, us to admit, okay, caste exists, because manual scavenging. Caste exists for many other things. It exists in everything. Right? Like, if you go to Jodhpur, I hope I don't get into trouble for this. If you go to Mehrangarh Fort in Jodhpur, right? When I went there, I froze literally there because at the entrance there is a giant plaque celebrating the mass Johar, right? According to that plaque, I forget now, 10 or 12,000 women jumped into a giant fire because there was a Mughal army or Muslim army, I forget who was there, right? Now, it's going to be a little graphic, but I want you to think about this 1 second. It's an important epistemic question. Have you ever stood next to a funeral pyre? One dead body, you can't stand this close to it. You have to stand because the heat is there, right? Now imagine how big a pyre has to be if you're going to put 10,000 people in it. It'll be such a big fire and so much heat that it'll burn the whole city, it'll melt everything. You can't. So you can't have 10,000 people in one go. Operationally figure it out. So it has to be, people have to be burnt in batches. Right? All of you look at your macabre humor, you're laughing. But it is true, you have to burn them in batches. Do you know how long it takes for a human body to burn? It takes hours. So if you have 5 batches or 10 batches, you're talking about 25 to 30 hours, fire is constantly burning. Which means people in the 4th or 5th batch, women in the 4th or 5th batch, are seeing for hours this happening. Imagine the horror. Of course, historical records know that tell us that they were drugged to the point of losing their consciousness. I wouldn't be surprised if many were just like unconsciously thrown into the fire. But I cannot help but imagine there must have been some people who would have still grasped it. Records also tell us these women were dragged and thrown into the fire. It's a monument. I'm saying nothing controversial by this. I'm just working it out empirically, right? Where is a research looking into the politics of a culture which is celebrating this brutal sight of massacre as a sense of cultural pride? Not Rajput men, Rajput women. Very proud and assertive of this militant identity is become associated with that. It's fascinating actually, it's a very different epistemic thinking. Dalit Bahujan Samaj, we have our own issues. We are not looking into them, but why aren't they looking at it? There's so many ways you can think of this. I'll give one more example. I know I'm taking up a lot of time. Recently, a journalist, she's up cast, she contacted me. Now I've become like, quotable quotes, So she was doing some piece on Tinder, Bumble dating, right? And uska insight ये था कि Tinder, Bumble, whatever dating has become very thaka hua hai, which I agree. This is like gone, right? So you don't. So she was trying to talk to me, and I was giving, because I have digital humanities and cyber cultures kind of, so I was giving her some insight. Then I said, why aren't you looking at it from a caste point of view? And then a very interesting moment happened. She said, yes, that's very important. That deserves a separate paper altogether and everything. And I'm like, wait. When I say you need to look Tinder and Bumble dating through caste, what are you thinking? Right? Like, I want to know what is your vocabulary of caste. Jo likhne likho, I'm just, as a sociologist now, I'm interested. Her definition was, okay, like, I'm sure for a lot of people in class will be like, I have matched with somebody and they have used a casteist slur. Right? Now that, I'm not denying that doesn't happen, but somebody would have to be comically stupid to do that. Like, you're like a cliche. आप मतलब एक वो textbook मजाक हो, like, hey, you are from such and such community, can't believe I matched with you. I don't doubt that doesn't happen, but that's not what I mean from caste. I was like, just look at the format of Tinder or Bumble, right? And tell me what you think is a good profile. Right? A good profile is, you need to have enough cultural capital to be witty, with English, international photos, one kutta billi picture, has to be there, acha khana, preferably bungee jumping or something like that. And I think one of these apps has also a Spotify plugin, so you can see which songs you're playing. Some of these apps asks you questions. Look at, I was going through all these questions. Go through all the questions. And then try to imagine somebody without cultural capital in a caste society. How will I answer those questions? Right? Tinder, I don't know how it is now, but it used to be the most democratic of these platforms because you just need to put a photo, which is why a lot of profiles are just one random photo, passport size like this. What will you do with that profile? Will you right? Just random photo. I've heard so many people make these profiles, there's no bio. What are you essentially or filtering on? It is caste. And then you're complaining that you're not finding enough matches because of course you're filtering out a vast majority of dateable population, and then you're complaining that there is nothing on this app, and you're writing a whole piece on it and you're not seeing this as a caste angle. So then you go one step beyond. Why are these vast majority of people not dateable? Oh, then the penny drops, right? जिसको आप बोल रहे हो कल्चरल फेमिलियरिटी नहीं है, मैं आपको डेट नहीं कर सकता, आपको गेम ऑफ थ्रोन्स नहीं मालूम, गेम ऑफ थ्रोन्स से क्या लेना देना भाई? आपको मालूम नहीं एड शीरन कौन है, उससे क्या फर्क पड़ता है, राइट? बट ये एक्चुअली एड शीरन और गेम ऑफ थ्रोन्स नहीं है, दिस इज ए फिल्टर फॉर कल्चरल कैपिटल. वेयर डिड यू लर्न ऑफ दैट? यू लर्नड इट इन योर IB स्कूल. You learned it in that peer environment. You live in housing colonies with other people like yourselves, and like there are these, these biosecure zones in COVID, these bubble tunnels, whatever they call it. Actually, in Indian cities are built exactly like that. You live there, you come out, either you're using your own car or your app will bring you an air-conditioned car. You're sealed from the city. You move. Why will you leave your home? You will go to school. You will go to school, other people are like you only, IB schools, right? Or you will go to office, other people like you are only working there. Or you will go to a cafe or pub in certain posh parts of the city where you will meet other people like yourself. So you can navigate the whole city without actually, unless you live in a city like Bombay where it forces you. City is there, right? Apart from that, you don't like Pune where I lived for 6 years. A lot of my students in Pune actually have a very weird, limited spatial imagination of Pune. पता ही नहीं है उनको. Calcutta, where I grew up, like for instance, you can look at this. People forget, and I have constantly said, like every time I meet somebody who's not from Calcutta, they're like, "Oh, you're from Calcutta. I've always been dying to go there." No, you don't. Same question. What do you think of Calcutta? Oh, Park Street, Fleury's. So the imagination is there is something called College Street. All the Calcuttans are sitting on the road in a chai shop talking about Marx, That is the imagination of Calcutta. And you will go and you will bump into somebody and they will say Uri Baba or something like that. And everybody is feeding each other sandesh. That's the imagination of Calcutta. So it is obviously a shocker to everyone when I tell them that Calcutta is not even a Bengali speaking city. Less than 25-26% of Calcutta actually speaks Bangla. It is predominantly a Pasmanda Muslim city. Professor Khalid is not here. We were talking about this. You can actually map all the way from Esplanade, all the way across to Topsia Tangra, across two major arterial roads. Anybody from Calcutta will know this. From Esplanade, all the Lytton Road, Kid Road will go. There's one major arterial road which will cross, AGC Bose Road. You cross the road, it begins again. Topsia, Tangra, and all the way down. And this is predominantly Pasmanda Muslim communities. Until 2010-11, I have a clear memory of this. In Google Maps, they didn't even show gullies. They just showed one great blob. There's one grey blob. So, the spatial imagination of the city is very different. Why will I want to see a film made on Calcutta? Why will I want to read a book made on Calcutta? Because you're going from a very different imagination. Look at Bollywood. Calcutta is Durga Puja shot, yellow ambassador. Right, that's it. Khatam. So you have a very different, limited understanding of all of these things in so many different subjects. Food studies has become a new Savarna scholar fascination. What is food study? They'll go to one city, there'll be one khao gali. Right, and there'll be there'll be one Chinese wala, one gola wala, one pan wala, one juice wala, and like one of each caste sanitized space. Right? Like the fact that caste and food has such a deep relationship of what can be eaten and who it can be eaten with and where is somehow missing. Food studies is about like, upper caste Bengali women diaspora making Bangla food blogs, and they're like, oh, I'm in Boston but I'm making like, whatever this shorshe bhaja, and like, and somehow I'm performing my Bangaliana and something. That is the discourse. This is what I meant at the beginning of my lecture. The complete materiality is lost. We don't know what we're talking about. I once got into trouble in Flame University when I was teaching. I'm sorry, I hope nobody from that college is listening. But this is actually not disparaging to the college. It's disparaging on the students. Students I can, ditch on, since I no longer teach them anymore. Right. I got into trouble because I once said that this is a very queer-phobic campus. Which is very true, and some people, some students who've made it their whole personality that they're the queer voices on campus got very upset with me. They're like, you're denying our queerness. मैं बाल रंग करके आई हूँ, tattoo है, what are you saying? I am openly queer. कैसे बोल दिया this is a queer phobic campus? अरे तुम कर सकते हो ना? You are not the framework of this thing. More power to you. That you can be who you, and I'm sure it's not easy for you because even your upper caste teachers will look at you a certain way, and parents, I am not saying it's easy, but for me it is impossible. मैं तो कर ही नहीं सकता. I don't have the cultural capital to come to work wearing a sari. I know some people can. I am not those some people. नहीं कर सकता. यहाँ कोई स्कॉलरशिप की इज्जत नहीं है. यहाँ आप मेरे को पीयर टू पीयर ही नहीं मान रहे हो. Unless I come and speak to you from an anonymous Instagram ID, you are not even acknowledging my scholarship. How will you accept me in anything less than formalized appearance which is sanitized for your consumption? And I tell my students this always. I say, don't forget, Bombay has been doing queer pride parades for 15-20 years. Right? Abhi bhi jao. Same 1,500 people will come. Queer is a party. Entry is free. It is happening at a convenient time. Right? 1,500 people will come. Bombay also does a Standard Chartered Mumbai Marathon. It happens at 4 AM in the morning. You have to pay them money. You run. They turn you away. And still 50,000 people show up. Right? What that is telling you, there's something about the politics of your pride which is not including everybody. And I've done fieldwork in Bombay, and this is pre-WhatsApp days. That time there was cruising was still a thing. Cruising, I don't know how many of the young people know this now, where there's certain spots in the city which if you were from the community, you knew. So for gay men, it was like you go and you stand there, and then somebody else will come and you look at each other, and then you go and you do your business. And there were these queer spots, they're called cruising spots. WhatsApp has made it much easier now. So even today you go there, you will see this. In East Andheri, when you come out, there is a giant McDonald's. Fun fact, it was also a very popular cruising spot. Right? So now when I went there to do fieldwork, I noticed that there was, and everybody had told me, you're going to Bombay to do fieldwork in whatever way, you have to go there. I went there and I found there was not one but two queer spots, cruising spots. 50 meters apart. One is opposite McDonald's, the other is, and more power to NACO because they knew this, there was a condom vending machine which was installed there. Right? Which was right there. So that was the second spot, 50 meters apart. Now this defies expectations because cruising spots are never so close. It will create confusion. Right? If there's one in Andheri, then another one will be in Bandra or something like that. There will not be two such clearly defined spaces 50 meters apart. But very clearly you can see different, and first I thought it was rich, poor or something. And I'm asking them, what is this? And koi bata nahi raha. And finally this boy, he's flirting with me, give me your number, then I'll tell you, and all of that is going on. So finally I was like, okay, you take my number, but you tell me what is going on. And then he very nicely says, sir, aap sawal galat pooch rahe ho. You're asking the wrong question. Don't ask why there are two spots. Ask where people are coming from. No. जो यहाँ है, जो वहाँ है, कहाँ से आ रहे हैं? Right. This is 2010 data I'm talking about. So now, clearly, if some mediocre academic like me with very limited fieldwork skills in 3 days could stumble upon this very obvious kind of a demarcation that the direction of desire also has barriers in between, then why has this scholarship not come now? I don't want to read about Dalit queer, I want to read about Brahmin queer. You come out and tell now. There is no mental health and like neurodivergence for instance, right? There's more power to this discourse, more power. लेकिन आपके घर के जो आसपास में जो slum area है, where that father wants, like community understands the power of education, has decided that he will educate his child because they will not live his life. अब उस बच्चे को learning disorder है, नहीं cope up कर पा रहा है. What do you think the usual reaction of the parent will be? They'll say you're not paying attention. It will quickly descend into emotional or physical abuse. या तो उसको पिटाई पड़ेगी, या रोज इमोशनल सुनना पड़ेगा कि हम इतना कर रहे हैं, you know what I'm doing and I'm putting you to school and you're coming with like this number. It's not fair to that kid either. Where has that discourse been taken into that space? और क्यों नहीं गया वहां पर? क्या ये प्रायोरिटी नहीं है? और अगर ये आपकी प्रायोरिटी नहीं है तो आप मटेरियल रियलिटी से बात ही नहीं कर रहे हो. Am I making like this? This is the theme that I'm constantly building towards, and I'll start winding up. Like, and then you start seeing in what's the solution, what's the resistance. If this is the entire epistemic erasure, तो आप इसको बदलोगे कैसे? अच्छा, रेवोल्यूशन कैसे होती है उसका भी एक एपिस्टेमोलॉजी है, हमको सिखाएंगे. When I entered the university, I was taught that there is a larger, like your worldview shrinks. आपको सिर्फ आपका गली मोहल्ला पता है, और मैं आपको आके सुना रहा हूँ चिली में ये हुआ, क्यूबा में ये हुआ है, और इसमें ये हुआ है, और Patrice Lumumba in Congo, and Ben Allah in Algeria, and all of these, and I'm listening and I'm fascinated, and these are great struggles and I should know about it. But what that is also doing is, it is defining what the revolutionary is for me. कैंपस में मुझे आंदोलन करना पड़ेगा. क्यों करूं मैं आंदोलन? हम इसी के बारे में बात कर रहे थे. क्यों करूं मैं आंदोलन? किसके साथ करूं? Which institution in this country, educational institution, which talks about inclusive, compassionate pedagogy, is accountable to its students? Show me one in this country. There's no accountability. There's no transparency here. What cultural capital do I fight you with as an institution? खत्म कर दोगे आप मेरे को हंसते हंसते. We were talking like it's only very comically, bad academics and examples जहाँ पर हो तुमने मेरे सामने बोला अब तुम्हें 100 में 0. I'm not denying this. It actually happens very frequently. But the much easier, much more bigger approach is you would have gotten 70 out of 100. I'll give you 55. You know something's wrong. But as a teacher, I am also a teacher now. I know how to keep that 10-15 marks. That's the difference between you getting an A+ and consistent B's. It's that easy. So why should I be that revolutionary Kranti? Kranti is this idea that you look at our Bollywood, some hero will rise, they'll burn down the city, they'll go around it. But I see a revolution. Actually, I see thousands of revolutions in this country. In every Indian city now there is a Bhimnagar. In every Indian city now there is a Bhimnagar, and there will be a statue of Baba Saheb. People are trying, and what are they using this? This is a claim to public space. Anu talks about it all the time. This is a claim to public space. मेरे पास assertion क्या है? I'll give you one example of Nashik. Nashik is a very interesting city. Spawned the right-wing movement, upper caste right-wing movement in this country. There's a railway track in Nashik. City के बीच से जाता है, College Road के आगे, and there is a Dalit slum which is literally next to the railway station. Even today, if you go there, it's shanties, and right next to the shanties, they made a nice little meditation space with a statue of Buddha and Baba Sahib. And a friend of mine used to live in the city, and she comes from a Brahmin family, and she was telling me how when this was being built, all their relatives and very wealthy Brahmins, family across continents and all that, all they could constantly talk about was, look at these foolish people. They are living in this slum. They are living next to the railway station. They are not building their own homes, and they are wasting money in all of this. Think their children are here and they are building this. They'll never learn. And this was rampant occur. And what's fascinating is not one of them has thought, कि if I live next to the railway track, where literally my children are in the danger of accidentally being hit by a train, क्या मेरे दिमाग में नहीं आएगा? मेरे पास तो नहीं है ना लाखों लाखों रुपया एफडी रखा हुआ कहीं पर. आई एम सेविंग 100 रुपीज 50 रुपीज पर डे, और ये सेव करके मैं यहाँ क्यों डाल रहा हूं? आई एक्चुअली एम वे मोर एम्बिशियस than just building my home. It's a community space. I want my children to have one space where they go and they see a dignified space जहाँ पर वो उनका है. That's revolutionary for me. It takes a generation to build that. Overnight काम नहीं हुआ. एक एक स्टैचू जो इस कंट्री में बना है, एक एक जो स्पेस ऐसा बना है, community has struggled for a whole generation. I was doing field work in Bengal recently. There's a small town called Betai. It's on the Bangladesh border. Literally 600 meters down the road, Bangladesh border comes. 90% population there is Namshudras and Muslims. These are all post 47. Complete translocation of population has happened. Not one work on this has happened. In the 70s, they started a college named after Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. 70s. What does the government do? Immediately revokes the permission. 70s, permission revoked means funding gone. In the middle of there, like Calcutta say 3-4 hours, you go Krishnanagar say another 2-3 hours, you go to Betai, where in the 70s, for 2 years, the community pitched in, paid the teachers, cooked their food. They said, it's a college named after Baba Sahib, we don't want it to get done. And then people went from there all the way to Delhi. That time Jagjeevan Ram was there, they lobbied and everything, and finally he was the one who prevailed, and that college is still there. Show me one contemporary South department or department. So much has been written on culture and you don't associate Bengal with Baba Sahib. You expect a story to come from Maharashtra or something like that. No, it's coming from there. In Sri Ganganagar, which is another border town on Rajasthan, literally it's the last town of Rajasthan after which you hit Punjab. It's practically a Punjabi city in Rajasthan. There is also a Dr. B.R. Ambedkar college there. And I was speaking to the senior activist there, and he's telling me that, I was like, how did you get the name of Baba Sahib here? From the Meghwal community there. And he was saying that, look, he's an old man. He said, there was one teacher who came from UP. In the 60s, he was the first person in India to have done his PhD on Baba Sahib. He got posted here. He was in our college. And he said that time in our college, water was separate. And he was very assertive and he told us all this. And he said, so there were 26 of us students in that college, and there were 100 plus, upper caste. Mostly, the Rajputs and so on and so forth. And they said, we went to him and said, sir, they give their water like this to us. And his words, not mine. He said, sir ne humko bola, you are 26, go together, या तो सारे पिट के आओ या आज से बंद करके आओ. Said we all 26 went. There was tamasha, but from the next day it stopped. Until today it has not happened. For me, this is a revolutionary story. This teacher who has transferred, and that guy has grown up. He's now a major community leader, and like now they've made a vihar and they're doing all of those things there. It started from one teacher's intervention, and that person has written, by the way, 88 books. Show me one department library which has even heard of him. Forget having his books. So my point is, for me this is revolutionary that this is happening across. Wherever I'm going, I'm finding stories like this. एक statue के पीछे sometimes politics is being played by the state. Another different town in Bengal, Halencha, they wanted their college to be named after Gurjat Thakur, the Mathua educational reformer. Opened thousands of rural schools, told his community, stay hungry but send a child to school. The entire power base that he created was the electoral base which Jogendranath Mandal got Babasaheb elected from. He was elected from Bengal. The whole powerful movement was broken by the partition and invisibilized afterwards. Not one academic work on it. Community remembers. Their only demand is what? Please, because they're seeing the erasure, name the college after him. Huge struggle. What does then left government was ruling in 2005? You know what they do? They named the college after Babasaheb. Cunning challenge has been thrown. And I'm meeting the activist there and he's telling me that, again, Ms. Halencha is Bongaon and for, he's telling me we love Babasaheb, but we are very unhappy with the name of this college because a politics has been played with us. This is not what we asked for. Now if we come out and protest and say that actually we want it to be named after Harichand Thakur, the news will be that Dalits are protesting against Babasaheb. We know how it will be used against us, therefore we are biting the bullet and we are not going to protest. The level of political maturity of a community sitting there who understands this. And what is the, upper caste journalism saying? Or look at the students. My Savarna students will say, oh, these villagers, no, they will give vote for freebies and, electoral, something like that. Sorry, they are clearly demonstrating a political maturity. वो अपना रेलवे के पास में घर improve करने की जगह वो space बना रहे हैं. They understand the dimension. They are way more demonstrating a consistent political maturity. Where is the epistemic recognition of this? तो हमारा तो पूरा history and positionality ही erase किया हुआ है. And in the absence of this epistemic work, जब आप ये बात करते नहीं हो तो पता है क्या होता है, हमारी दुनिया छोटी हो जाती है. It shrinks. We start seeing our identity in the exact terms that the hegemonic order is putting on us. मैं फिर एक atrocity victim बन के ही रह जाता हूँ. मैं सिर्फ एक manual scavenging discourse बन के ही रह जाता हूँ. I'm not seeing it as a very vibrant history of resistance and counter-resistance which is breaking out in every city, in every mohalla. वो खत्म है. And इस कदर material disconnect है. आप सोचो आपका शहर है almost Bangalore. अभी 2 महीने पहले there was a big Ambedkarite rally. It was lovely to see that on Twitter because people did not know what this rally was. वो तो photo viral हुआ. Suddenly on that flyover you see a sea of blue. And the first viral goes, oh look, Ambedkarites have come out in solidarity with the Muslim hijab thing. Then somebody said, no, that is not what is happening. 1 लाख लोग सड़क पे आया है, आपको पता भी नहीं है क्या हो रहा है. समझ रहे हो? Civil society activists, दुनिया भर के academics, journalists, people who do community outreach, आपने किसी ने कुछ सुना नहीं. Are you understanding? This is the level of disconnect we are talking about. That literally, people have to march under your window before you start speculating, oh, something is happening, right? So this is a level of disconnect. And, because of this erasure, your world shrinks. become smaller in your own thing, and you can't talk about structural things, you can only talk about personal things, which is what we all are reduced to. आप अपना personal narrative लिखो, autobiography of a Dalit, autobiography of an Adivasi, that is the way. Be a Dalit artist, Dalit poetry. Again I repeat, have you ever read Banya poetry? I love my friend Banyas, I spend a lot of time around them, you know. This is a Brahmin people kind of like have not heard that, so I'm introducing new exotic term, Banya, you know, Banya poetry, right? And वो नहीं है, and I'll close with this little anecdote, like, you know, my friend Bekari Prasad Siddesh, some of you may be familiar with his work, and Siddesh has often spoken about his desire to be seen as an artist, not as a Dalit artist. But the moment he transcends that line, he loses and he becomes vulnerable. There was an incident which happened, and you can unpack it in whichever way you want. I'll just narrate this. And I tell Siddesh about this very often. He, you know, if you've seen his work, he does a lot of surreal work. He will bring Ambedkarite, Bahujan historical icons, and he also talks about other movements very often. Usse, some Ambedkarites also have an issue with him or whatever, but like whatever, it's his space, he does his thing. He had made an artwork on Marsha Johnson. And in that artwork, he called it transvestite. Right? And there was an immediate like furor, मतलब एकदम anger wave. ठीक है? उसके ऊपर आया, and people were like, you know, shouting on him. And he got very and we were talking, and he, in our conversation, he was like very perplexed. He was like, he went to NID. He's like, this is what our teacher said, this is what is written in my notebook. And मैंने reference के लिए फिर भी BBC का interview देखा, where Marsha is herself referring to herself as transvestite. He doesn't know the discourse beyond that. अब उसने वो डाल दिया है, ठीक है, अब उसको नहीं मालूम है, people have cancelled him. Okay. He takes down that artwork, he makes a new artwork apologizing, saying I should have done better. Okay. Cringing apology he puts up. And uske niche I'm seeing all these Savarna queers coming and trashing him, saying, you think this is enough? You think we will forgive you? It's not enough, and you better pin this comment so others can read it and like it. And he pins that comment also, and people are liking it. Now something, you can unpack it in whichever way you want. Maybe you can be like, yeah, sure, fair enough, more power to you. But something about this really unsettles me, that a proud, he's a first generation Dalit learner, एक artist है, he has created through his own ingenuity a market which did not exist before. He's trying to explore himself, and cringingly you're breaking him down. You think this is enough? Fascinating power play. And मैं उसको एक ही चीज बोला था कि you know what, you probably should have just gone and said कि भाई मेरे टीचर ने ये बोला था, this is the program, this is the name of the teacher, उसको बोलो. I'm a first generation Dalit learner, मेरे को नहीं समझता. Right? So I'm sure if I was in his place, I probably would have just turned my Instagram off and run away for the hills and thrown my mother. He is way more courageous than I am. But something about this politics, because it reduces us. आप personally हो, आप वो space नहीं छोड़ सकते. His mistake, in my opinion, was in this. Actually, it's not a mistake. He crossed that line beyond the Dalit movement. जहाँ आपने वहाँ पे cross किया, you have to be put back. Laws of Manu are transcending time and space and cyberspace. You have to be put back in time. All right. And I'll end with this only that, you know, the stories are all out there. The epistemologic understanding is all out there. All of you, a lot of you are young scholars, young academics. I see, you know, the influence of work that Roundtable India has done, Velivada has done. I see the work, obviously, that Anubhai and Nalanda team is doing, Eklavya, and so many different organizations. There's thankfully some diversity in this private university cluster. Thankfully, today, we don't know what will happen a few years from now. Because that's a different crisis and a different catastrophe for some other time. Thank you for being so patient and listening to me. Jai Hind.